Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, the Federal High Court in Lagos has awarded 10 million naira damages against the Nigerian police force for violating the rights of #EndSARS protesters. In a ruling on Thursday, Musa Kakaki, the trial judge, said the police infringed on the rights of the #EndSARS protesters during the memorial rally on October 20th, 2024. The Lagos State Police Command had ruled out any possibility of 4th anniversary commemorative protests from happening. But demonstrators gathered at the Lekki toll gate in Lagos on Sunday, October 20, 2024, to mark the 4th anniversary of the EndSARS protests. The memorial was to remember those who lost their lives during the EndSARS protests against police brutality in October 2020. And no fewer than 18 protesters commemorating the 4th anniversary of the protests were reportedly arrested by operatives of the Nigerian police. Now, joining us live in the studio to speak more on this and the ruling is Hassan Soweto, a rights activist. Thank you so much, Hassan, for joining us at this time.
Thanks for having me.
All right, now this verdict, has been described as a win for Nigerian protesters. How do you think both the protesters and the police force feel about the outcome of this particular case? How do you feel about this particular case?
Well, thank you very much. I think it's more than a victory or a win for the protesters. It's actually a win for the entire country because the issues that were before the court, they were issues about fundamental human rights and whether or not the Nigerian police or the Lagos state government or any state government for that matter can just wake up one day to suspend the right of the people to freedom of assembly. That was what was at stake. And I would like to say very clearly that I was the lead applicant in that case. Myself and 21 others were seriously brutalized on October 20 last year. Some of our members were even sexually molested by the police, led by the then Commissioner of Police and the current chairman of the Lagos State Task Force, CSP, Adetayo Akerele. So the judgment today is of significance from giving that background. Is a landmark victory because the judge clearly made it known that under no part of the Nigerian Constitution is the police empowered to do what they did. And the judge was quite explicit in his condemnation of the action of the police and his warning to the police to desist from further, violating our rights. I think that this judgment is going to renew the confidence of the Nigerian people, especially the youth, the workers, and all of those who wants to oppose injustice, who wants to call out those in power. This judgment is going to re-energize them, going to renew their confidence. I'm particularly happy that this judgment is also coming a few days to the 1st anniversary of the End Bad Governance protest. Next August, is when we'll be celebrating that. And just like we have had in Kenya, where a similar anniversary was marked with a mass protest, the hope is that we will be able to see what we can also do in that manner in Nigeria. This judgment means that for those who want to come out to protest, they would see this judgment as something that covers them, that empowers them, that renews them, and that encourages them, and that renews their faith. And I hope that the judgment, especially the punitive cost that has been applied, that has been given rather, would also make the Nigerian police to think twice before they carry out such kind of attacks and assault of people's rights.
Okay, now the court awarded 10 million naira. Is that amount enough?
Well, we have to be thankful to the judge for awarding that, even though we asked for something higher, we asked for 50 million. So the judge gave 10 million. Whether 10, whether 50, the police may not even pay it. There are a lot of judgment costs like that, spanning the past 3 decades. That the police
so what more can be done if they don't pay?
The Nigerian police is an institution that is unlawful, that constantly violates the laws, not just the Constitution, but also the judgment of the court. In fact, if the judiciary was to do its job today, the commissioners of police across the country, as well as the IGP, they should, they should be in prison, given the multitude of judgment costs that they do not pay. We will press for it to be paid. But what I'd like to say is that the significance of this judgment even goes beyond that amount, that compensation. It's about respecting the rights of the Nigerian people to be able to freely assemble peacefully, you know. And what we can hope is that this judgment will act as a deterrent. But then we will also not wait even for the police to demonstrate whether they are ready to obey that judgment or not. We would go on to continue to also dismantle several other legal entrapment that Lagos State government and the Nigerian police have put in the way of exercise of freedom of assembly. Right now, you may not be aware. Actually, there is a judgment at the level of the Lagos State High Court against myself and other protesters. That judgment was granted January of this year. And I, who is a defendant in that suit, only became aware of it around March of this year. I was not served, I was not informed, I was not allowed to join case with the Lagos State government. Meanwhile, that judgment actually annuls the right of every Lagosian to be able to protest in any part of Lagos. So we are going to move swiftly after this judgment to also go and appeal that. Because what is very clear is that the Lagos State government, the Nigerian police, the federal government, they are working together to just put all kinds of illegal boot traps in the parts of Nigerians, especially activists, trade unions, and civil society organizations, to be able to demand accountability from the government. And we are not going to allow this because it's very obvious that without struggle, there is no way we can be able to save this country from collapse.
Well, let's hope that, with this ruling, it will serve as warning to, the Nigerian police to better respect the rights of Nigerians, just as you have said. Thank you so much, Hassan Soweto, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
With that, we'll take a break. When we come back, the news continues. Stay with us.